Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 4 of the Survival Project. I am joined by my next guest, Sean Francis. Sean Francis and myself have actually quite a few parallels in our own experience of living with Crohn's disease and a stoma. So I'm really looking forward to getting his insight and sharing his journey of everything he's experienced over the last couple of years. From there, I'm gonna pass you over to Sean and let him tell his story.
Yeah, how's it going? Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. And yeah, like you said, we do have some parallels and stuff like that. I think it's hard being a young man, especially having a stone and stuff like that. But where it started, so I got diagnosed with Crohn's when I think I was 16. Sometimes get imposter syndrome nearly because I didn't have the usual kind of symptoms that people have. Like I didn't have the urgency or the blood in the stool or anything like that. Just was losing a lot of weight. I was really tired all the time. It's kind of blurry. Like I don't, my mom would probably remember more than I would remember. I was just really unwell, and the doctors just couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. So I had every test under the sun. My blood platelets were coming back sky high, which is a weird one. So even my CRP, like inflammation markers, weren't crazy high around. It was mostly the platelets. So went around in circles for ages anyway until one doctor was like, right, we're gonna do the camera test. So I had an endoscopy and colonoscopy done altogether. I think they're kind of slow to do that for people who are a bit on the younger side because it can be a bit invasive maybe I think, but they did it anyway. And then literally straight after just came out while I was still kind of, when you're still kind of off your head a little bit on the meds they give you for the camera test. Doctor came in and was like, "Yeah, you've Crohn's disease." Gave me a sheet of paper and then walked out. So you're just kind of left being like, "What's the crack here?" Oh, there's a lot of information. They put me on the steroids, prednisolone or whatever they're called, the devil's tic tacs or whatever they call them. I was on them for what until they kind of made a plan in regards to meds. Went on humour, so that's like the injection, self injection. Was on that for a few years. Thankfully, that worked wonders. Like I was grand for years. Um, Managed to do my leaving cert, went to college, got all college done, no issues, and then just stopped working. All of a sudden, which is mad. So I remember actually specifically there was a time I had these like called like little wart kind of things on my finger, which I think we can be more likely to get because our immune system doesn't work as well, obviously, and it's being suppressed by meds. And I remember one day they just cleared up, and I was like, oh, that's real good. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, maybe that's not good because my immune system's actually working somewhat and I don't want it to be working. So literally, I'd say not even a month after that, maybe, I ended up with just the worst pain. Still to this day, I can't even describe how bad it was in the backside kind of area. I literally couldn't walk, could barely move. It was awful. Went into A&E and they couldn't really see anything on the surface, so they done like MRIs and all that, found like a big horseshoe. They said it was like a horseshoe shaped abscess, but was like deep kind of inside. So it wasn't at the surface. So I had to get a surgery for that, have a drain and stuff. And then they put these like drains in. They were literally it's like something out of a medieval torture thing. Like these plastic kind of drains coming out of it, out of the incision. Had them in for a while. Had to go back to the hospital, kind of have a look at, have the drains adjusted, have the wound checked, all that. That was grand. I was like, right, little blip in the radar, whatever, it's grand. And then just from there on out, I swear to God, 3 months nearly, I'd say on average, 3, 4 months, I was back in the hospital with the same thing. It just kept coming back and coming back. They put the ceton drains in, which are like these little. So they eventually found a fistula, which is like a tract. So your body obviously attacks itself and makes a tract from your colon out, like a little hole basically. They found that, put the cetons in, still didn't work. So just in and out of hospital every couple of months, just having surgery for it again and again and again until eventually they floated the idea of having the colostomy done. And that was in April 2023. So nearly 2.5 years ago now. But that was that. Yeah, and even after that, then I still had problems with the backside. So the abscess kind of came back. That had the surgery in April. That was in August. So I had to go in again for that other surgery. I was like, oh, this isn't even working. But thankfully, since then, I've had nothing. Thank God. So that's been just over 2 years since I've had any kind of problems with it. We're on the straight and narrow now, which would.
Long may it continue, absolutely. So you've had a absolute roller coaster, ups and especially getting the relief of the Humira actually working and seeing what life can be like without Crohn's after diagnosis. Like that must have been so hard to be on medication, life is rosy, you're dealing with it, and then for it to stop working. The consultants at the time when you came in saying that, symptoms have come back and you're still in the mirror, did they talk about upping the dose? Did they figure we're going to try a different medication or?
Yeah, yeah. So we did all that. I think I can't, it's a bit blurry, like, but I think the initial thing was kind of that the humour levels in my blood were a bit lower. So I remember I was taking an injection once every 2 weeks, and then they upped it to once every week, and then they're like it's not working at all. So they tried to change me to infliximab, started me on the lowest dose of infliximab and stuff like that, which is like the medication you get through infusion. So started that every 8 weeks, then they dropped it to 6 weeks, then they dropped it to 4 weeks. This was all while I was in and out for surgery. And it was hard to get a real good run of being on the medication because they couldn't give it to you when you're on antibiotics after having surgery. There was just big gaps between actually being on it. So I didn't really get a proper run of Humira until after my last surgery. Or not Humira, infliximab, sorry. Didn't get a good run of it until then. But I'm on the highest dose of that now. So the highest dose every 4 weeks. So I'm in the hospital every month for that. But it seems to be working. Thank God, touch wood again for now. So yeah, so that's the thing, isn't it? You're just kind of like you're just in the hands of this like hope. You're like, well, look, I hope it's still working. So let's just keep doing what we're doing. But that's where I'm at now with med. So it's just been back and forth with the consultants trying to find something that worked. And thankfully, or infliximab did, but it took a while for my body to actually let me have a run where I could try it properly. But that's kind of where I am medication wise. Yeah.
It's an awful place to be in where you're kind of waiting for the medication that you're hoping is going to alleviate the symptoms and get you back on track, and you can't do it because you're sick. When you're sick, you need a medication. Like, it's such a
Yeah. That's a
hard,
catch-22, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, such a hard place to be. Well, just want to dive back into when they first mentioned that you'd need the stoma. Like, what was your headspace like at the minute? Were you thinking, oh, I'll do anything for alleviation, or were you thinking, oh God, that has to be the last resource? What was your kind of mindset at the time?
Yeah. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because obviously I've been chatting to you over the years and listening to your podcast with your mom as well, which is brilliant, by the way. But like initially, I remember having this conversation with my mom like, around when I was first diagnosed and all. And when you start researching, you start Googling, and you start looking into things and all, and then you see colostomy bags, and you're like, oh, no way, like I'm not doing that. I remember saying to my mom, like, oh, look at this, like, and she was like, you won't need one of them, like, don't, as moms do, like, they're trying to make you feel better about it, like, and I was like, Jesus, I'm never doing that, like, I'd rather not go on, like, than have one of them, like, that's not hope. But then obviously it's easy to say that when you're somewhat okay, but then when you start getting sicker and sicker and worse, and there's just no end in sight, like into how you're feeling. I think like I went back and forth on it for a while, but in my head I was just like, "Do you know what? Like, just anything is better than this being in the hospital every couple of months. Like, I couldn't get a run of health to save my life. I remember one day just sitting to myself and saying, just give me a year, please, just give me a year of feeling good. Like, that's all I want, just a year. And so that's kind of where I was with it. Like, I remember they were kind of toying around the idea of it for a little while, and I was the one who went in and said, you know what, let's just do this. I'm not doing this again. I think I was on surgery number 8 or something of the same surgery, and I was like, this is not working. So I'm not doing it anymore. So let's do it. Do you know what I mean? And that was it. So I'm grateful in a way that I kind of was in the headspace to do it. Like, I was like, you know what, anything is better than what I'm going through right now. So it wasn't too bad for me in that regard. Obviously, it's a big adjustment and it's a hard adjustment, but I think when you're just in that much in the depths of it that much, it's kind of like, well, look, I'll throw anything, like literally a Hail Mary, bite the bullet, as I say. Got a tattoo of, it's like a lips biting a bullet, and has the date I got my surgery inscribed into the bullet, and that was it. Like, that was my mindset. I was like, right, let's bite the bullet on this, and we'll get it done.
Yeah, just see what life can be. So it's the unknown. What you looking online can be so good and so negative at the same time.
Online can be obviously the likes of yourself and stuff like that, which is brilliant. You get so much inspiration, so much motivation from some people, but then on the other side, there's just so much negativity. I remember looking on like Facebook groups and all, and like I was like, am I ever going to be able to work again? Like, because there's so many people who are like, don't work or don't do that, and I'm just like, oh, you catastrophize in your head. You're like, is my life just over here? And like, it has two sides of it, so you kind of have to learn to filter through the shit nearly, like to figure out what is actually realistic and what's not.
The last episode, Sarah O'Connor mentioned that when you go looking up stuff online, a lot of the things people will put up is the negative because they're looking for advice on it. Whereas when you're in a good space, you don't need help. You don't need the advice. So a lot of the positive put up online, which I think is such a great thing about you coming on and sharing your story today, because when you're in a good spell, you want to be able to share that you're in a good spell, that it's not all doom and gloom, because there is so much negativity out there, because it's such a negative thing. Like, you're living life battling an incurable disease, and it has so many other implications on how it affects your life. But I think to come on and share a bit of the good side of it is what we have to do, so that anyone else who might be going through the same situation isn't like, oh God, my life is over if this happens to me. But when you in the weeks post getting the bag, or months or whatever, when did it kind of click for you that this is a better type of life than what I was experiencing before?
I think I had it was a tough one for me. So I obviously had the surgery and stuff, and you know yourself, like the recovery is tough enough. I think whatever mindset I got myself in at the time, I'm grateful for. It's nearly like a blur. Nearly, I was like, right, I'm getting through this. I remember I bought a car not long before I had the surgery, and I was like, right, didn't have my license yet. I was like, right, I'm getting my license. Silly, probably silly, but not too many weeks after, I was out practicing driving with my dad, and I was back training and stuff like that. Like, probably too soon, but like that's just the mindset I was in at the time. But then I got knocked back again. So like I said, that was in April, and then I had pain again. I remember I was on holidays, and then I kind of felt the niggle come back, and then when I came back from holidays, and I just like it was just like, oh, this isn't good. Had to have that other surgery. That was in September, and because I had the bag, they weren't too worried about like me being in bits down there per se. Like, so they really like the surgeon told me, he was like, we're really gonna go in here and dig it out and kind of give it a good clear out. And the wound I was left after that was genuine. I still have pictures of it on my phone. It was horrific. Like, it was literally, I don't even know, like, it was massive. And I was in the hospital like literally every day having it looked at and having it checked. The room nurse in St. James Hospital, she's absolutely brilliant. She was so good to me. Like, but that was probably one of the most traumatic things. Like, that was worse than the stoma surgery by far. And especially having that after you've already had the stoma surgery was so hard. So it's not really till after that that I kind of found the relief. Still to this day, you have that kind of anxiety and stress of it coming back and needing to go through that again. Thankfully, I haven't. But obviously, as time goes on, then after that surgery in September of that year, you're kind of like, right, I'm starting to feel a bit better now. You're training, you're back training, and you're feeling healthy. I wasn't going out, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't doing anything like that. I was really looking after myself, and I was like, right, I think I'm on a little bit of a run here. I was working full time. I was able to go on some holidays and stuff like that. So it was just kind of like a gradual, right, okay, we're getting nearly putting like a spell together of just a few good things in a row, and just a bit of consistency, I think is the word. Like, just consistently feeling okay, which is huge, I think. And hadn't had that in such a long time that I was kind of like, right, this is working. And I was like, obviously had the bag, and I was like, I am never going back to not having this bag if this is how I can feel with it. Do you know what I mean? How bad it wasn't worth the risk of going back.
That
That's
consistency
kind of
is
how it was.
it's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, and it's such a normal thing that people get to experience on a daily basis. And for us to get that, you become so appreciative of it that you actually see the bag as this, your entry to normal life finally. And it's a peaceful kind of place when you get that bit of consistency, which is just what everyone should be able to do on a daily basis. But obviously, it's much harder road for us. But you've been kicked so many times. Like, what would you say, 8 surgeries? Like, that is just.
I couldn't even tell you now at this stage. I think, yeah, at least 8, yeah.
For me, I think each surgery takes a part of me. Like, I remember when I first got a tattoo, you've told me yourself, I didn't bat an eyelid at it. Pain wasn't really a problem for me, do you know? But over the times of the years, and I feel with the Crohn's, every time I get a tattoo now, I'm a little bit softer. Like, I feel all the surgeries going through have nearly made me a little bit just softer. They've all taken a little bit from me. Where before I felt I was strong, I was able to take it. Like, do you feel that they do take their toll on you, or how do you get through them?
Like I was saying earlier, like I think nearly that, like, it was probably two and a bit year period is nearly like a blur. Like, my mom would be able to tell you more about it than I would be. Like, she'll tell me stories. I haven't a breeze. I'm like, jeez, I don't remember that. But I think at the time, like, I think you're just, like I was saying, I kind of had like these 3 months in between being the surgery, and I feel like I just kind of like went mad during them 3 months. Like, I went out loads, I was partying loads, I was trying to train again. I was like literally trying to reclaim as much of your life as you could in between that little period of needing surgeries. I think I was just like, right, it's a weird mindset to be in. Like, I don't know how to describe it, like, but I wasn't sad or I wasn't down. I was just kind of trying to get on with it. But yeah, it absolutely does take it away, take stuff away from you. Like even now, I nearly find it harder now. Like since I've had a good spell of health, it's nearly harder mentally now because I feel like when you finally have a chance to kind of, like you said, feel all right consistently, then it's kind of all hitting you. Like you're kind of thinking about things a bit more. You're thinking about your family, how it impacted them. You're thinking about like, oh, if I had have done this, would I needed that? And I think that's what I find the hardest and what's taken away from me. It's like, even though everything's good, it's still hard. Daily life is still harder than it would be for an average person. In regards to how I feel, I think mentally it takes a lot out of you, the surgeries. Physically, I'm grateful. Like I feel good. I feel healthy physically. But I think once the physical kind of stuff starts to dwindle a little bit, you're on that battle with the mental side of it then, which is tough, I think. And like you said, that anxiety, like that never goes away. That health anxiety, any niggle, any little pain, anything, you're just put straight back into that space of automatically thinking you need surgery. And I think that's what's took away from me most is just not having to worry about that sort of stuff. Like I will never not have to worry about it. Similar to yourself, we're not fortunate enough to never have to worry about it, and it's hard.
Even in the best day, it's still back here. It's still niggling away. There's always just that little bit of a scratch at the back of your mind that's saying like, oh, don't get too ahead of yourself here, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
It's a very hard thing, and I suppose we have to utilize it in a sense and kind of move on with our life to kind of push through it. But as you said, like it's not what other people have to deal with on a daily basis, so it's very hard. And do you? I know you have a great relationship with mother, same as myself. Like I think we've a definite parallel there, and that they're definitely guided us through it, and they were the rocks for us. And as you said, when your mother remembers more, my mum tells me stories, and I'm like, what? When did that happen? She's like, oh.
Yeah,
But do you find like having that great relationship and being able to speak to someone? Do you speak to your family, or do you tend to go somewhere else to talk? Like, how do you kind of cope with everything that came with the mental side of it?
yeah. So I'm grateful enough to have so many amazing people in my life, and that's another thing I'm always grateful for. Like my family are brilliant. My friends are great. My girlfriend is amazing. Like I'm lucky enough to have all them supports in my life. And obviously, I think I remember you were chatting to your mom. Like your different parents kind of take different roles. My mom was that person. She was the hospital person. She was the person who came with me to every appointment. She done anything to do with hospital. Like she absolutely rocked. Like I couldn't be more grateful for to her. Like she's been amazing, even still to this day. Like she's incredible. But it's just having that support. Yeah, like me and my mom would have a brilliant relationship. We'd be very close. So like I would talk to her about everything, not just Crohn stuff, but everything. So I will always talk to her, and then worries I'd chat to her, and she'd know. Like even now, I still have them drains. She'd be like, "How are your drains? Are they okay?" and stuff like that. She'll check in, but she knows sometimes I might get a niggle in the drains. I'll feel a bit sore, and then I'll spiral. I'll be like, "Oh, this is happening again." So she knows to check in and stuff like that. Like that, my dad as well. Like he kind of took the more like trying to help you kind of get better approach in that. Like looking at he used to be a personal trainer, so he kind of knows his stuff. But even after my surgery, like he's the one who brought me out driving, who got me up to scratch with that. He's the one who helped me get back into the gym, get training. We were lucky enough to have a shed out the back that we kind of use as a gym. So he like built me up from literally nothing, like especially after being in some alright shape, you go back to having to literally just stand up and sit down from a chair. Like, he kind of took that role. So I was lucky to kind of have both sides of it. Do you know what I mean? I had like that strong male kind of role model who was like, right, let's go, we're gonna do this, we're gonna beat this, we're gonna get our shit together basically, and get back to being fit and healthy. And then your mom, like the more emotional kind of supportive side of that. Blessed to have that. Absolutely blessed.
Absolutely, it's nearly like yin and yang, the masculine, the feminine. You need both to
Yeah, yeah.
it's great to have that relationship and those people to bring you out of it. And getting back into the gym, gym for me is the best thing for clearing my head. Even talking is such an essential part of it. Your head could be muddled, you get the words out, you can actually put a bit of, I suppose, control or an understanding of what's going on. Training for me is like meditation. You go in, you can hit a boxing bag, you lift some weights, you can go for a run, different things like that. You're in good nick, you're a big dude. How important is training to you, and how do you kind of manage it with the stoma?
Well, thank you. You're not in a half bad nick yourself, Jonathan. But yeah, like that. I always kind of enjoyed exercise and stuff like that. I actually, funnily enough, specifically remember before my very first surgery, I was actually in work and I had felt like this pain. Obviously, it was the abscess starting to come to fruition basically. Like, and I was in bits, and I walked home from the train station, and I was like, right, whatever. Didn't think too much of it, obviously. So I was like, right, I'm gonna go out and do a workout. So I went out to the shed and just done a full on workout while I was in bits. Absolutely no problem. But like I remember, that's what I think I found hard as well. I remember nearly feeling like I was in the best shape of my life before I ended up getting sick. So I was like, there's what can I do? Like I'm literally, it was around kind of COVID times as well. So like there was no takeaways open. No one was drinking. It was me and my brother were training every day. My mom was making roast dinners and everything every day. So I was literally living the life. I was training hard, eating good, literally ticking all the boxes, not drinking, not doing anything. And I still end up sick. So that was frustrating. I think training is so important. Like it nearly gives you like a motivation. I remember after all the surgeries, I'd be like, like I probably didn't give myself enough time to recover from them really, but I'd be back out to the shed trying to do some pull ups. I'd be back trying to do whatever I could, and that was nearly like it would keep me going. Like, so I'd go out and I'd be like, right, I can still do this. I haven't been knocked back that much. I can still do this. So it's so important, but it is hard. Obviously, getting knocked back after each surgery. So any progress you made is just out the window, gone.
You're working and working, build it up, and then you're up, 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 and then sickness comes and away. Like it's very
Yeah.
frustrating.
But my dad would always say, in fairness, he'd be like, imagine how much harder it would be if you weren't trained. Like, if you weren't in a position to, like, you recover so much better. And when you're in somewhat decent shape and you're healthy, and you're obviously not healthy because we have this thing, but relatively healthy, it makes so much aspects of like dealing with surgical stuff, even mental stuff, so much easier. It's like, although you've been knocked back, you can get yourself to this baseline where you're ready to recover properly again. And if you weren't training at all, that would have done you no favors. So it's like, it's important to not look at it in that aspect. Our progression might not be really linear, but like even being able to go up and go down and go up and go down, at least you're keeping some baseline of relative strength and health that will absolutely help you in your surgeries, in your recovery. And it's easier said than done, but I'd be lost without it. Like,
Completely. And I know for weight and holding body shape, like if you put on too much, I didn't realize this until a woman actually messaged me to say that she had put on a load of weight since she got her stoma, and her stoma folded into one of the flaps where her body had started to bend, so she couldn't get a bag to fit on it. And I remember it was just, oh my God, it's something just so uncomfortable for me. It's something I never realized about putting on weight, that your body would actually change could affect the stoma so much. So being fit and staying fit when you have a stoma is, I think it's something that needs to be really, you know, constantly brought awareness to, because it's something that really scared the life out of me. Having an awareness of staying fit with a stoma is essential. Do you like wear a stoma support band? Do you do anything to kind of protect it? How do you find your core has kind of been since the surgery?
yeah, it's a nightmare, man. It's a nightmare. Not a nightmare, like it's grand. Yeah, whenever I train, I wear one of the support belts, the hernia support belts. I did end up getting a little bit of one. I think in hindsight, I think that happened like barely even a week after surgery. I think I was having a shower or something. It's only a small little one. It's not causing any issues, and the surgeons were like, we won't touch that unless it starts causing issues. So that's fine. Yeah, I do wear a support belt whenever I train. I do. It is hard. Like there is certain exercises for me that are just a no go. Like they're just not doing that. Any like heavy squats or heavy deadlifts or stuff like that you really have to brace the core hard. It's just not a runner for me. Maybe like you could one day, but like you said, it's nearly like a fear thing as well. You're like, oh, I'm not risking that. There's a lot of bodyweight stuff and like that for me at the minute over the last year or so, which I enjoy, and it kind of doesn't stress me out as much. But yeah, like there is certain things. Like I remember my brother was in the garden practicing to do a muscle up, and I started to try to do it. Like, you know, when you kind of do the swing, the kipping. I remember doing it. This was only like a couple of months ago. I remember doing it, and I just instantly was like, nah. You just feel that pull straight away. I was like, I just can't do that. So there's certain things you can't do, but there's so much you can. So there's no point in focusing on what you can't do. Just focus on what you can and do that.
100%. Because if you were to focus on what you can't do, like you wouldn't be doing anything if you didn't have the stoma. You know, so
Well,
it,
that's it. Like, and I remember having that thought, like when I got back training after I had my stoma surgery. I was like, I just remember feeling so grateful. I was like, I'm so lucky to be able to train, like, and feel healthy, like when I was doing it. And I was like, oh, I'm never going to take this for granted again. Now, of course I do. I still go through spells where I'm lazy and I don't train much. I haven't been great the last month or so. I was on holidays and stuff like that. But you go through them spells, which is normal. But I remember being like, oh, I'm never gonna not train again because I know how crap I felt when I wasn't and wasn't able to. So it's like, Jesus, like when your body is cooperating and you can do it, it's like you absolutely should, like, because you take it for granted then when you haven't had them spells where you haven't been able to train or you've just been so sick.
When you say when your body's cooperating, like I get that. When my body's cooperating, I'm like in the gym every single day of the week. I go to 6:30 in the morning class. I try and go for a run in the evening. Do you find then when your body is cooperating that you kind of maybe push yourself a little bit too hard?
Don't know. Sometimes maybe, yeah. Like even like I have my ma in my head here. Like she'd be like, "Take it easy now, take it easy." But even like after, like when I'm feeling good and I'm in a good place, like even after my infusion, I'm like, "Take it easy." Like, why you just rest for the day? And I'm like, "No, go to the gym." Like things like that. You probably should be a bit more conscious and just letting yourself rest. Like if I'm in work and I'm tired after work, I'm like, well, I'll still do a workout, but it's like we might not be doing ourselves as much favors. I know most people who are fully fit and healthy, it's not a thing to them. But I think us more so than other people kind of do need to listen to our bodies. So that's something I probably could do a bit more. Then in the same breath, I have times where I'm not training nearly as much as I should, and I'm like, well, I should listen to my body in that regard. So there's a consistency there to be found. Do you know what I mean? In balancing it. I'm not going to sit here and preach like I'm out here training 5 days a week, 6 days a week. I'm not. I go through phases where I'm really consistent and I go through phases where I'm not. But I think overall, over the course of a year, like I'm pretty consistent. I think that's the most important thing.
That's it. Having the long consistency is key. Like, cause like we're all human, we're ups and downs. There's some days where I'm really in it, and other days where I'm like, oh, I couldn't even think about getting out of this cot in the morning.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
When you have the discipline and you want to keep yourself as consistent as possible, it's a necessity. But I think, as I said, listening to your body and trying to find that balance is essential. We do need to listen to our bodies a little bit more because we have to deal with problems that other people don't have to listen to. And some people say, "Oh, I'm tired, so I didn't go to the gym," but we could be tired because our chronic illness is making us tired.
If you're tired normally and you go to the gym, you probably feel better after. But if you're like chronically fatigued and tired, and I remember this a specific time I went, I was feeling like that, like I was just crippled, like I was so tired. I did a workout, and like everyone always says, you'll never regret doing a workout, and you always feel better after. I absolutely did not feel better. I was just wiped after. So it's like there's a difference between being tired and being fatigued with a chronic disease. Like being that level of fatigue is hard to even describe. It's like if you're feeling like that, don't worry about it. Do you know what I mean? Listen to yourself. Like, but you get to learn over time which is which. Like, which is I'm just tired because I had a bit of a crap sleep, or I'm tired because I'm actually just fatigued here. Like, and I need to listen. But that just comes with time and experience. Like, I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it's a lot of trial and error and trying to figure out how to live a life when you're living with a stoma and living with a chronic illness. I just want to circle back. You said you're in a relationship at the minute. How long are you together now?
We're together, about 10 months now, I think. Not
Sweet. So
too
this is
long in the grand scheme of things, but
all post surgery.
sorry, say that again.
This is all post surgery. So this and
Post
then
surgery, yeah, 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 yeah,
how did how did you kind of navigate that? Well, I suppose it's a whole new world when you're going on dates and heading out meeting girls and you have a new stoma and you're adapting to body image and confidence and all that sort of stuff. How did you find getting back dating after the surgery?
yeah. So I was in a relationship before when I was kind of going through all them health issues. I was with a girl before I had the bag and then throughout the kind of getting the bag journey. So I never kind of had to navigate that until kind of afterwards. So that was fine. It was kind of after then. Obviously, I kind of remember taking kind of a year to myself. I was like, right, I'm not doing anything. I'm not seeing anyone. I just took a good year. Like, and then that comes around. Then you're like, right, I need to get myself back out here and start doing that kind of stuff. And it is hard. Like you're like, how do you even navigate them conversations? Like I remember being on the apps and all, and you're like, at what point do I tell this person that I have a bag? And then you're like, you shouldn't have to, but then in your head you do. So it is hard. I don't have the answers because lucky enough, my girlfriend, we met in work, so that was absolutely fine. She was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Like I remember like saying to her like, "Oh, I have a bag," and it was never an issue, and it has never been an issue since. There's been nothing but support in every aspect. Like so, I'm so grateful to her for that. Like she, as it has never been a thing, and that's the thing. Like I think we've all said before. Like a nurse said to me, it was like anyone that matters doesn't care, and anyone that cares doesn't matter. So it's like if someone cares, that says all all you need to know about the person. Do you know what I mean? So it's easier said than done to try and navigate relationships or dating when you have a bag. You'll find the person. Just it will come to you when you're least expecting it or you're not looking for it as well. I know people always say that and it's such a cliche. Tends to be the way it happens. Yeah, I'm lucky again, so lucky with my family, lucky with my girlfriend, she's absolutely amazing, such a special person. But to be able to not like it's never been a worry in my mind, like since the day we got together, as I've never even had to think about it. Even this it's silly, but like obviously you have a bag, like even the farts that come out of your bag, like you know what I mean? Just silly little things. Like, it's never been a thing. It's never been an issue. Any issues or malfunction that I've had with the bag or anything like that has just never been an issue. It's always been don't ever worry, don't ever apologize for anything related to your bag. So yeah, like I said, the right person just won't care. Like it's nothing. All it is we just poop differently than somebody else. That's literally it. Like, and you know what? Some might say we probably poop a bit more hygienically than others. You know what I mean? In a way, like maybe we're actually better off. But yeah, that's it. Like it's. I think the harder part is probably being with and supporting someone with Crohn's disease as opposed to the bag itself. I think it's like finding someone that will support you on them days that you're really fatigued and understanding that and being there to support you when you're having a bad day or you're going through a tough time. I think that's more important than the bag itself because the bag doesn't change anything about you. Absolutely nothing. All it does is change, like I said, how you poop. I think the Crohn's disease is the harder part and being with someone and supporting them. It's all well and good when it's sunshine and rainbows and you're feeling good, but it's supporting someone when they're in the depths of like and that's the hard part, like, but the right person will support you through that, like, and that's what being in a relationship is, like, do you know what I mean? It's not just being there when it's good. It's you're choosing this person to support when it's not good as well. So I think like that I've been lucky enough to not have to worry too much about my stoma in that regard, but it is daunting. Like I remember getting back out there and you do have them thoughts, but it's an afterthought now. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure if like anyone is going through that, it's very real when you're in it. And then one day you look back and be like, geez, I can't believe I was even worrying about that. Like,
It's brilliant, like to find someone with you through the highs and lows, because there are highs and lows with this. And I really what you said there about the Crohn's being something that you really need someone to have an understanding more so than the bag, because I find Crohn's can disable your life completely. Like it can lock you in a fucking toilet seat for hours on end and stop you from leaving the house. Whereas that has never happened to me because of having a stoma bag. I see a lot of people would say that, there's a lot of stuff online about stomas being a disability, and absolutely in the legal sense of it. But I would always say that it did make me differently abled, but the Crohn's disabled my life way more than an ostomy ever did. That's something it's good to drive home, is that, life goes on, and you still get out into the world and meet the right people, and you get a chance at life.
yeah.
So when it comes to living life with an ostomy and living life with Crohn's disease, what advice would you give to someone who's kind of finding everything very hard at the minute and wants to take back control of their life?
Yeah. So I think like reach out to people, I think is important as well. But like, I think the right people is important as well. So like that, I remember reaching out to you and a couple of other people. And it's like nearly looking at people who, not that you aspire to be, but in a way you're like, right, they seem to be doing good with this. Like they haven't let it dictate or control their life. Obviously it will at times and in some regards, but overall, like it doesn't have to be the be all and end all of your life. Finding these type of people that are like, right, this isn't the end of my life. Like yourself, I remember reaching out to you, but just trying to take control of your life and not let it like beat you down. It's hard to say, like, but there's you can work full time, you can train, you can travel, you can see the world. There's nothing that having a bag will stop you from doing. There might be some places you can't go because you need a live vaccine or you need certain vaccines, but the world's a big place. There's plenty of people you can see, plenty of places you can see. So like I was saying before, don't focus on what you can't do. Focus on what you can do. Like you might not be able to go to the Amazon, but you can go to Greece or you can go to like there's so many other places you can go. Like so just don't let it control you. Get yourself back out there, like get yourself back into work when you're able. Obviously don't rush, but there's no reason why you can't live an absolutely normal life. And it's easy to say when you're in that place and it can feel like it's never gonna happen when you're kinda in the depths of it. But if you get a spell where you're doing good and you're feeling healthy, take advantage of that. Don't let it slip. You know what I mean? If you like that, I've been lucky enough to have 2 years now. And I'm proud of myself. Like I've achieved a lot in the last 2 years. So like it's about taking advantage of them spells when you have it. There's no doubt I'm gonna go through spells again where I'm absolutely in bits and I'll need more surgeries. That's just the nature of chronic illness and Crohn's disease. But when you have that time, use it. Use it as much as you can and don't think you're not able or don't be overly cautious about doing things. Seize your life because you only get one. You only get one life, and we can change what we have. We have Crohn's disease. We have bags. Control the controllables. You can do these things. Just take control of your life as much as you can. Crohn's will control what it controls. It will give you them days where you can't get out of bed. You're just absolutely wiped. But it will give you days where you can and make the most of them. I think is the important thing. Listen to the people around you as well, like you were saying about your mom and stuff like that. They know, they know us better than we know ourselves. Like my mom will know when I need to rest, and she'll know when I'm having a tough day or when I'm having a tough time. So listen to them people as well that are around you. Look for supports in the right places. Take your time as well in the same sense, like when you have surgery, don't rush back to training. I probably did it a bit too soon, but don't never train again. And some people will see online, be like, oh, don't, there's such a risk of a hernia, there's such a risk of this, there's such a risk of that. Like, you can do it. You might have to do it a little bit differently than other people, but you can do it. Don't mind that waffle that's out there. Like, you're more than able, you're more than capable. Like you said, we're not disabled, we're just differently abled. There's very little that I can't do now. If anything, there's so much more I can do because I'm healthy and because I feel like I have my life back in some way, shape, or form. So it's just having the bag and having Crohn's disease is not a write off. Not the end of your life. It's not anything like that. If anything, for me, getting my bag was the start of my life. Do you know that kind of way? When everything started to get better. Yeah.
Like, it's like, is the glass half full or is the glass half empty? Like, when Crohn's rears its ugly head, you're going to have to live in that moment. So if the time is good at the minute, you might as well live in the moment you haven't and utilize it and take advantage of it, because unfortunately that's the nature of this disease. It can go back and it can affect your life so much in the future. But I think that's it. You just have to grab the moments when they're available and make the most of them. But it's great to be able to get your lived experience and share it, because that's how we learn. And as you said, there's so much waffle out there. I think like reaching out to the people that you align with and the people that you like the way they go about it, just for even information. Like you were saying there, people say don't train because you risk of a hernia. Reach out to someone who can give you the advice on how to train. People that are already doing it. You got to find the people that really resonate with you, and people that you can learn from to help you adapt your life and make sure that you can live your life to its full potential. So definitely, it's great advice. I'm just going to grab some water again. Cotton mouth.
Oh, go on. Go on then. Hydrating 24/7 with a shit bag.
I'll definitely have to leave that in. On the same sense that with training, for me, I find hydration such a problem. I'm constantly drinking water, using electrolytes, different things like that, trying to even eat foods with high water content in them. Do you find dehydration is an issue that kind of affects you?
I think I'm lucky enough in that I think you have an ileostomy, I have a colostomy, so obviously I still have my large bowel. So it's not as much of an issue for me. Now, in saying that, I do need to be conscious to drink plenty of water, because a funny story, I remember one time, obviously I think I was really busy in work. I was doing like a couple of long shifts in a row. I obviously wasn't drinking enough water. I remember, I think I ate like 2 bags of popcorn or something in work, and Jesus, that was not a good idea. Like when you have an ostomy or dehydrated and something with that much fiber, it's a terrible idea. But I remember being in bits then for a week. That was my first time having like a blockage. Thankfully, I've just had the one, and I think it was so bad I learned my lesson. I don't think I've ever been dehydrated since that. I remember having to go into the hospital because it just wasn't shifting. And funny story, and that's the thing. Like I think, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here in a minute, but we do have some funny stories. They're probably a bit traumatic, but they're pretty funny. Like, and if you have to be able to laugh about them. But I remember going into the hospital, and the doctor, and he came in, and he was like, right, I'm gonna need to basically gonna have to have a route around your stoma. Like, and I just remember sitting there being like, this is mad. He literally was sounds gross, but he had his fingers in me stoma, in my stomach, and I was like, "Do you know what? That's a unique experience. How many other people in the world are gonna have someone literally knuckle deep in their stomach through a stoma hole?" It was very uncomfortable and it was pretty painful, but I just remember laughing and just telling me ma after, and I was like, that was mad. And but you have to look at the light side of these things sometimes. It was a horrible experience, but I was like, that's mad even that we have to go through things like that no one, like however other many people in the world will ever have to experience something like that. It was one of the weirdest sensations I've ever had in my entire life, I swear to God.
And that, like that, you kind of have to use humor as a coping mechanism, because what's the
Ah,
other?
absolutely.
You have to laugh at these things, and definitely funny stories. I know my funniest one. I talked at an event there recently, and obviously it's very serious conversation. You're talking about your ostomy and your lived experience of it. And I told a story about how my mum had to chase me around the house with an enema because I would not take the enemas, and she was there. I was there hiding in the bathroom, running up the hallway, being like, "Get away from me with that thing!" She's there coming at me with this bloody enema. But I told the story at an event.
Uh,
And one fella goes, and then tried to cover up his laugh with a cough because no one else is laughing. And then I had to be like, "Here, look, I will tell this in a kind of humorous way. You're allowed to laugh." And everyone kind
yeah,
of like was
yeah. The stories are gas. My mom was actually, she was telling me she was obviously listening to the podcast you did with your mom, which is brilliant, by the way, especially for anyone that has kids or anyone going through it. It's such a good insight into trying to support someone with Crohn's disease and the lessons in it. But I remember you were telling your story about the goat's milk. Or your mom trying to get you to drink the goat's milk. My mom was cracked up because she was telling me, I remember this as well. Sorry, excuse me. There was not long after I got diagnosed. Obviously, your mom's trying to fix it. She's trying to figure out what to do. She got me this greens powder, right? And greens powder have come a long way since then. Let me tell you, they're much nicer. But I remember this one. I was like, drink it. You have to drink it. Just get it into you. Like, just drink it. I was like, right, go on. And it was the most gritty, chalky, disgusting stuff I've ever drank in my life. But I was just laughing because I get, like, my mom could get where your mom was coming from and trying to fix it, and then I get where you're coming from, being like the stuff that they tried to have you doing to try and make it better, like, is gas. But now we certainly have some unique experiences, that's for sure. I remember one time when I was in the hospital after having the stoma surgery. I don't know if you had to do this as well, but I have a loop so it has like kind of two holes in it or whatever. Nearly like a reverse enema. So I had to, like, did you have to do that as well? So you literally, like, I remember sitting over this portable bidet thing, and the nurse comes in and he's basically flushing you through the other loop in your ostomy, where, like, obviously it's been detached. And it's just like the stuff they have us doing is absolutely mad.
you can speak it, but you can't even explain to someone the sensation and the whole the invasion of it. And then you have to go like, "This is just madness. Like, what else can I do but laugh about it?" Like, because to speak, oh yeah, it's impossible to explain. And you think like, yes, no, I never had to get that done. Now, thankfully, that's just one of the things I didn't have to get done. Thanks.
That's one. That's all right. That's right. Be glad you didn't, because it was definitely it was a strange experience. They're probably sharing too much, but I think that's important as well. There's probably someone who had to, like, there's no shame in any of this stuff. We have to go through it. There's no point hiding it or trying to hide the reality of it. Like, we have to go through some mad stuff, and I'm happy to share all these stories and talk about them, because why would you not? Do you know what I mean? The more people that talk about this stuff openly and honestly and experiences they've gone through and can laugh about it as well, and coming out the other side, it's like, it is mad. It is awful. Like, some of the stuff we have to go through, it's terrible. But, like, you get on with it and you get it done, and hopefully talking about it, the likes of myself and yourself chatting about it, if someone else is listening to this who might potentially have to go through it, at least they know, well, look, there's two people who have done it and can laugh about it on the other side. And it is rough. It's tough. Mad stuff will happen to you. You might be laughing, you might be crying, but you'll get through it. Like, you'll come out the other side.
It's rough, and it's happened because you've been going through a rough experience beforehand. But I can say all the rough periods I've gone through in the hospitals and what had to be done, it's all to get you back better, to get you where you need to be. When I'm in hospital, I just have to say, right, this is where I have to be now, so that in 6 months' time I can look back and go, God, that's over. I'm in a good spell again. And I think being able to share so openly, like, that's what this podcast is all about, is sharing so openly so that someone else can say, oh, that happened to me and I felt that way. And, just so you can actually resonate with the conversation and know that you're not the only one experiencing it. So yeah, as much as it's an overshare, everything we say, it still has to be done. It's the reality.
I think it's important as well to not, you can share the good sides and like that. You're lucky enough to be going through a good spell, and so am I. But the reality is, like, that's, I think it's important to acknowledge and accept that. Like, that's not, hopefully it will be, but the odds of it lasting forever is, without you going back to a bad spell, is slim. Like, and even that, I was saying to you earlier on off camera, I'm back in hospital on Monday for another operation. Now it's just like a preventative kind of thing. Nothing major, but like, even with all the good, you're still kind of dealing with this stuff in the background. And no matter what, even if it's a small surgery, even whatever, it's still a surgery and it's still trauma, and you still have to go through this. And it's hard to get yourself in the mindset to go through that again. But like that, like you were saying, it's to help me. Like, so coming out of it, it's like to see what's going on, make sure I'm all right for another good spell. And then recently I was told I'll have to have a proctectomy, so I'll have to have my rectum and anus removed in the next few years. That stuff is still kind of lingering. Like, you know, you're going to have to go through that again. But obviously, it's for the right reasons. There's increased risks of getting cancer and stuff if that's left, and other sorts of things. So it's like, I get it. But it's still hard, but I get it. Do you know what I mean? It's something that you're going to have to do. So like that, going back to enjoy the good spells, especially when you know stuff like that might be coming down the line. Do as much as you can. They told me I was going to have that done in the next few years. I think your mindset's so important. I was like, right, okay, this is going to be tough, but I'm going to try to get myself in the best shape I can over the next few years. So I'm as fit and healthy as I can be to tackle the surgery and tackle the recovery. And like you said, hopefully after that, then it's to help me, it's to benefit me, and it'll be a tough recovery again. But hopefully after that, then, like I said, being resilient, we bounce back from so much. Like, I've no doubt I'll bounce back from this one as well. But you just have to do what you have to do, don't you?
Completely. And I suppose, you've done it before, you can do it again. I'd say it gives you a bit of confidence. Like, I know we can sound very pessimistic saying I'm in a good spell, I might be in a bad spell, but you do have to be logical about it. And as you said, keeping yourself as strong as possible and building your foundations up as much as you can in the good spells means that the bad spells aren't as bad as they possibly could be when you put in the groundwork, and then having that knowledge, that's what you have to do. That's like, understanding what you need to do is key to make sure that the future is better. So it's great to share those things, and to be able to impart that wisdom on other people. But with everything, Crohn's, surgeries, everything that you've gone through, what does happiness, like, I know we're all seeking happiness, we're all looking, happiness is the end goal at the end of the day, but after everything you've gone through, what does happiness look like to you?
Oh, that's a hard question, you know. I think
That's a dinger.
yeah, it is. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if happiness is the word I'd use. I think like just being content is what I'd be striving for, and I'm not going to sit here and say I've achieved that by any manner of means. I have my ups and downs, and like I said earlier on, I think the struggle for me at the minute more comes mentally than physically. Obviously, having a spell of good health, trying to tackle that as well. Now that you're in a bit of a better place physically, obviously going through Crohn's and all them surgeries and all that leaves an impact, whether it's PTSD, whether it's trauma, whatever, like it does have an impact. So that's kind of where I'm at now. But I think, yeah, happiness is just being content and just waking up and feeling like whatever you have to do today, like you can do it. Do you know that kind of way? Like, I can go to work and I'm able for that. I can go to the gym. I'm able for that. I have the energy to do whatever I need to do. There's days where I don't, but that's kind of what it means to me. Like, I think until you've gone through any sort of issues with your health, it's impossible to understand when people say your health is your wealth. And I feel like it's something that so many people take for granted. Like, that is happiness to me. It's just being healthy. That's it. Anything else can take or leave, but just being healthy is just so important. Like, and that's what makes me happy. Like, is not feeling like crap, basically. I feel like once you feel okay and you're back to feeling somewhat healthy, you're in a position to do all the other things that make you happy. You know, that kind of way. So like, you can see your friends, you can see your family, you can go to work, you can train. Just having that foundation of feeling healthy gives you the opportunity to build on that then with whatever building blocks are essential to your happiness. Everyone's different. Some people might hate training, and that's fine. They might go for a walk and that's their thing, but if that makes them happy, that makes them happy. Some people might, everyone gets joy out of different things, but it's hard to get joy out of anything when your body's giving up on you. So I think that's what's important. Is just having that base level of health, and everything else can fall into place then once you have that. And like I said, it's something I think people take so much for granted, and I think is the hardest part of chronic illness, and is that just gets ripped away from you so often. Is basically like that building block of achieving happiness is just being healthy. So I think that's what it means to me, and it's something I think is hard to understand unless you've gone through it.
I completely agree. Like, health is happiness, because when you're healthy, you can achieve, and as you say, you can go meet your friends. You can do all the things that a lot of people take for granted, and they're the things that make us happy. You know, being able to achieve and do and live life and have a bit of joy in our lives. So yeah, that's very succinct. I guess.
I think no,
Go
one other thing for happiness as well, I think is important, especially if you are going through what we're going through, is setting goals, having no matter how big or small, especially like that for me coming out of stoma surgery is like I just want to be able to do one push up on my knees. That's a goal, like, and you achieve them, and then it's like right, I want to do a normal push up, and it's like oh, I want to do a pull. Look, it's just a niche example for training, but have these little goals, like oh, if you want to go back to work, like, maybe go back part time, whatever. Like have these little goals and have them relative to where you are. Because once you start ticking off and achieving whatever goals you set out for yourself in a realistic way, like that also helps, and it can be a reflection of where you are then in regards to your health. Because you'd be surprised how quick you can start to tick these goals off when your body is cooperating with you.
Yeah, unbelievable tool is setting goals so you can see the wins as well. You can see your progress. I think we can definitely live life on autopilot, and when you actually make a very defined plan and goals to achieve, you can see how far you've come. Because I know myself, after the surgeries, you're sick, and then suddenly you're kind of feeling better, and your normal life kind of resumes. And whereas if you actually do put a plan in place, like you said, we're doing a push up on your knees. When you achieve that, you go, "Oh, I actually am making measured success here." Like, so that's brilliant advice for people. Just on that, and I suppose a final thought. We've been here for an hour. What advice would you like to give to anyone who's probably sees a lot of themselves in the situation that you've gone through? From what you've learned, what would you like to share with them?
And literally, like it does get better. As it's so annoying when people say that to you when you're in the depths of it, but when you come out the other side, you're like, well, they're actually right. It does absolutely get better. It takes a bit of time. It's not easy. There's tough days in there, but it does get better. And like that, reach out to people that have a similar mindset and like goals as you. Like, if surround yourself with people who support you. Don't rush anything. Take your time. Listen to your doctors. Just do like yeah, it's a hard one. Like yeah, just look after yourself. And I think like that, set your goals, no matter how small they are. Just set them and try achieve them, and just stack them on top of each other. But you will come out the other side of it. There was a time where I just thought there was absolutely no light at the end of the tunnel at all. But there is. I'm here now. And if you'd have told me 2 years ago I'd have done the things in the last couple of years that I've done, I'd have laughed at you. Like I'd have said there's absolutely not a chance. Like that. It's like looking at the likes of yourself or myself or other people who have gone through a similar experience and have come out the other side. Not to say we'll never be there again, but in the moment we've come out the other side, making the most of it and trying to live as good a life as you can. That's important, and realizing that you can do it. Like absolutely you can do it. It's tough, but it can be done. And it's harder for you than it will be your average Joe Soap on the street. No one will be able to understand what you're going through other than you. No one will be able to feel how tired, how that fatigue and tiredness feels. So that can be hard, but you have the likes of myself and yourself and whoever else comes on your podcast that does get it and has been there and has been through it and is like, no, you absolutely can do it. You can literally, there's not much you can't do just because you have Crohn's or because you have a bag. If anything, if your Crohn is making you sicker, then when you come out the other side of it a bit healthier, you can do more than you could do before. That's the way I kind of look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can become an outlier, because I remember when I was first told that I'd need the stoma, they're like, "Oh, you can do a lot of things, but like you can't maybe go playing very aggressive sports. You definitely can't go boxing, all this sort of thing." And like, there's a boxer called Rico Franco who boxes with a stoma bag, and it's like, so there's nothing you can't do. You set your
Yeah.
mind to it. Like, he's an inspirational man. My God, he's tough as a.
Yeah. He's incredible.
So really and truly, that there is nothing you can't do if you set your mind to it. You can become an outlier. You've gone through everything that you've gone through, and like, you can take the steps to get you where you need to be. So it's great advice. Thank you so much for your insight today. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, man.
That was good, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
So that was episode 4 of the Survival Project. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you so much to Sean for sharing his life of living with Crohn's and a stoma bag. It was absolutely brilliant. And as I said, I notice there are so many parallels that I can relate to from my own life. So it's great to have a chat with someone who really has a deep understanding of life living with IBD and living life with a stoma. So thank you, Sean. So this was episode 4. I really appreciate you all for tuning in. This podcast is still in its early days. We're moving forward. I would really appreciate any shares that you could possibly do. Likes on YouTube, comments on Spotify. It all helps push the podcast out to more people who might enjoy it and might be able to learn from it. So I really appreciate the support so far. And hopefully I'll see you again for episode 5.